Well, Jill Biden is spending a few days in Africa. It's her first visit to the continent since becoming First Lady. She will visit Namibia and Kenya in an effort to strengthen relations with the two countries before wrapping up her trip Sunday. So joining us now to talk a little bit more about this is Cameron Hudson. He's a senior associate in the Africa program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. I'm glad you're here. The Biden administration had sort of suggested, I think, maybe a month ago or so, that it was important to strengthen relationships with African nations. But I think whatever was on the agenda before the war in Ukraine has probably shifted a little. They were also focusing on, Southeast Asia and Asia, and they've had to put a lot of attention into Ukraine. So Africa hasn't gotten the attention that perhaps they had wanted to before. Is it significant that the First Lady is visiting these two countries specifically?
Well, I think it's significant anytime a U.S. leader and someone of this level goes to Africa. They're not common trips. I think it's even more significant, as you suggest, given the backdrop of the Ukraine war, of the amount of time and attention that U.S. officials have been devoting to rolling back autocracy in Europe. I think the Africans have felt like they've been getting sort of short shrift, even though the Biden administration has gone to great lengths in the last 6 months or so to kind of underline and foot stomp its support for African countries. I think there is a bit of a gap growing, though, between the rhetoric and the reality. And so trips like this that the First Lady is taking and other trips of cabinet level people. This is the third high level visit of U.S. officials to Africa just this year in the last 2 months, I think is an effort to kind of shorten that gap and really demonstrate with feet on the ground that we are here and interested in engaging more deeply with African countries.
And so why specifically Namibia and Kenya?
Well, I think they represent two similar but also different countries to go to. Kenya, one of the largest, most significant countries in Africa, perhaps right now our greatest and deepest diplomatic and security partner. They just had a very successful democratic change of government in the country last year. But at the same time, they're suffering, along with the rest of the Horn of Africa, from a historic drought and food security crisis. So this is an effort, I think, to really show support to a U.S. ally in the fight against terrorism in neighboring Somalia, but also to demonstrate the kind of soft power and values-oriented policies that Washington brings to Africa around things like food security. Namibia, a similar kind of case in the sense that we provide a very large amount of humanitarian assistance, educational, healthcare assistance, all of which are close to the First Lady. But Namibia, not unlike a lot of African countries, is experiencing its own debt crisis, largely driven by foreign debt, some U.S. held, some Chinese held. And so to this backdrop, I think we're seeing a kind of competition play out with China that we've heard a lot about in the last few months. So it's an effort to really strengthen areas of cooperation that we already have. And I think to kind of brush back some of what we're seeing are the inroads that the Chinese have been making, especially in Southern Africa.
So let's talk a little bit about that, because China has been making those inroads for some time now. I mean, we're talking sort of decades, not just in words, but in financial investment. And Russia, too, has been kind of extending itself as well to build those relationships in Africa. Does that complicate the efforts by the U.S.? Because, as you point out, it can't just be rhetoric anymore. You got to put your money where your mouth is.
Well, I think the challenge that Washington finds right now is that it has been present on the continent for decades through primarily humanitarian assistance, things like PEPFAR, the President's Aid Relief Program. We have been the #1 donor to the tune of tens of billions of dollars for humanitarian assistance, drought resistance, education, women's empowerment, you name it, all these kind of soft power issues, which China and Russia don't support really at all, or to a very modest extent. And so I think Washington believes that it should be getting kind of more for its money. We've seen from the African countries just in the last year a kind of ambivalence to the war in Ukraine, essentially sending a message of, this is not our war, keep us out of it. And I think Washington has been a bit dismayed that they haven't seen the same level of diplomatic support for their position on Ukraine than they would have liked, especially given the amount of assistance that has been going to African countries for many decades. And so I think this is an effort by Washington both to acknowledge that it needs to up its game in Africa. It can't just rely on kind of soft power values that we've been bringing and that the First Lady is bringing to Africa. We really have to engage in tangible programs that are going to demonstrate to African countries why a partnership with Washington is more valuable than a partnership with Beijing or Moscow.